across to our guests. Rahul Mehra is a Supreme Court lawyer joining us on the broadcast. K. Srinivas Rao is a senior cricket editor at the Times of India. Good to have you here. Keya Ghosh is a BJP spokesperson and Monajit Mandal is the TMC spokesperson. Keya Ghosh, you've just heard the from Kirti Azad. He, of course, is with the TMC now. But what he is saying is exactly what the TMC and the Congress both are saying, that Mr. Sourav Ganguly has paid the price for annoying the BJP and more specifically the Home Minister. They were desperate for a face in West Bengal against Mamata Banerjee. They were banking on Sourav Ganguly. In fact, the post of president as BCCI was given to him because they thought they could lure him into the party with that. That didn't happen, which is why he's got the axe.
See, Shreya, the first thing what I'd like to say is that definitely Sourav Ganguly, though he belongs from West Bengal, he's a pride for not only us Bengalis, he's a pride for the entire nation. Having said that, I see the TMC, member and decorated cricketer Kirti Azad, sir, he mentioned a lot of things about BJP. He spewed his venom against the BJP. But I would like to remind him that there is one person called Kalyan Chaube. Even he belongs from West Bengal. And even he's representing Bengal in the national level in the football. He's the All India Football Federation president. So why did Mamata Banerjee or Mr. Kirti Azad just congratulate him upon his election while he was elected? But they did not. They only play politics at this level because they know the current burning issues in Bengal, where we've seen the teacher recruitment scam. Again, one more arrest has been made. They just want to, make the people of Bengal or people of India, they just want to deviate from the burning issues. And then, having said that, Sourav Ganguly, of course, you have mentioned earlier that there has been no instances that one president is repeating for the other term consecutive 2 terms. No, there has been no instances in recent times at least. And also, he mentioned about Jay Shah. I would like to remind him, Rajiv Shukla, I don't know how much cricket he has played. Or Jagmohan Dalmia.
Just a minute. Keya Ghosh, the fact is, and let Rahul Mehra come in here. I'll give you a chance again, Keya. But fact is, you're saying that, BCCI president hasn't repeated, etc. That was against their constitution. The BCCI, Rahul, went to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court said, okay, rules changed. One would have thought that Sourav Ganguly would get a second term, just like Mr. Jay Shah has got a second term, but it didn't happen. Do you see, do you see anything sinister in what has happened, Rahul?
So let's start by saying that the more the BCCI changes, the more it remains the same. There has been large-scale reforms in BCCI driven by the court, thankfully by Justice Thakur at that time when he was the Chief Justice of India. There was a beautiful report which had come from Justice Lodha, who had retired. It was a committee which was constituted by the Supreme Court. And then Justice Chandrachud, who is now the next Chief Justice of India, in 2018 actually came up and with another judgment, followed up the 2016 judgment of Justice Thakur, where the first time an attempt was made by BCCI to go back to the court to dilute the constitution. At that time, Justice Chandrachud very emphatically, the bench said, nothing doing. We have already passed the orders. The reviews are, was filed by you. That's been dismissed. This shall remain. There shall be no dilution. We will not agree to what you want. However, 4 years down the line in 2022, there has been a change of stance, not from the BCCI, but more from the court. The court now seems to believe after 4 years that yes, some kind of dilution is the need of the hour, which most humbly, I would say I don't agree with. But, to say that BJP is the only one which is doing it is incorrect. Historically, it's been Congress which started it all, with Madhav Rao Sindhya, with Sharad Pawar as the agriculture minister of this country, holding on to the ICC post and the BCCI earlier. Rajiv Shukla, who's like a permanent fixture of BCCI. It's just like as if, in the office of BCCI, there is a furniture which is permanent. Mr. Shukla seems to be permanent. Whether it's Congress government or BJP government, he seems to be the flavor which seems to be interesting everybody. So therefore, Congress has been traditionally the culprit, but one would have expected better from BJP for the simple reason that for the first time, right from the top, which is the Prime Minister's office, one hears that there should not be nepotism, the Parivarvad should not be there. What else is it if the Dhumals continue, if the Shahs continue? What else can one make out of it? So therefore, इस हमाम में सब नंगे हैं जैसे कहा जाता है. This cricket, the game of cricket is a beautiful concoction of power, of massive amount of money, and huge doses of glamour. Money, glamour, and power, and free publicity for a politician. What else do you want? And there is zero accountability and transparency to anyone.
Okay.
So therefore, it's anybody's guess. It's an easy place to be in. Unfortunately, people who have been governing the administration of BCCI, and I dare say every single national sports federation across every single sports discipline is infested with the same ills. We need to now, what is the constructive suggestion that one can give from here on? I would actually, through your channel and through the medium of your channel, urge the Honorable Prime Minister, in whom majority of the citizens actually have reposed their faith in, that please lead as you do from the front. Let the talk and the action, let there be no variance, let that be in symphony. If you say that there should be no Parivarvad, then please ask these gentlemen who are trying to cling on to the corridors of power in cricket to just take a step back, let other people, fresh blood come in. And the Prime Minister should actually take a lead by saying,
Keya Ghosh,
we are the ones in BJP who I now direct all my BJP members, be it minister, be it an MLA, be it an MP, be a councillor, and let all other political parties follow that particular line.
Respond to
by saying just
Rahul Mehra is giving a constructive.
I appreciate what.
10 seconds.
I appreciate what.
Rahul wants 10 seconds more.
Rahul,
let me just
complete your 1 minute, Keya.
Let me just make my suggestion.
Okay.
If the Honorable Prime Minister can lead by just saying one thing, that at least in BJP we will not have these kind of things. None of my ministers, none of my MPs, none of my MLAs, none of my councillors who have a solemn responsibility to perform, to serve the people in their constituencies, none of them will be in any sporting federation, be it at the national level, be it at the state level or the district level. I'm telling you, divorcing politics from sports will actually ensure that sporting activities and sports in India will be at the top of the Olympic medal tally.
Is it possible?
In 20 years.
Is it possible is the question.
If you're asking me,
Keya, I'm giving you 20 seconds to respond to that. Because the Prime Minister is the one.
Rahulji
I don't know, you're optimistic. I'm forever a pessimist, Rahul. But Keya, you have 20 seconds to respond. Parivarvad ka charges have come to you through this evening.
See, Parivarvad charges
that you keep saying Rahul Gandhi, Parivarvad, Rahul Gandhi, Parivarvad, Abhishek Banerjee, Parivarvad. What is happening in the BCCI? That's not Parivarvad?
Shreya, Bharatiya Janata Party is the political party, only political party perhaps, who has been so vocal about nepotism. Having said that, whatever Rahul has said, I completely, or rather maybe
practice what you preach, na then. Practice what you preach.
I'm coming to it. Let me take a few names since the TMC panelist is present here. Some names: Ajit Banerjee, Kartik Banerjee. All of them, I have not seen any of them being associated to any form of sport. In Bengal, one of them is heading the Bengal Olympic Federation. The other is one of the governing members in the very prestigious football club, Mohan Bagan. Not only that, this doesn't stop here. TMC current General Secretary comes spokesperson. Even he is a member of the Mohan Bagan football club. In Bengal, what we have seen is that if you are from the party, TMC party, yes, of course, you're eligible to get whatever post you can. And having said that, of course, I completely back whatever I've said. Bharatiya Janata Party is the only party who we don't talk about nepotism, and definitely we act for it. There are definitely there are certain discussions. We are
Monojit Mandal, come in here. Okay, Keya. Okay, Keya, let me get in Monojit once. Otherwise, I'll be accused of not giving the opposition space. Though Monojit is my old friend. Monojit, the points Keya is making are important. जिसके घर पत्थर के हो उसे शीशे जिसके घर शीशे के हो पत्थर उन्हें नहीं मारना चाहिए.
Do I need to remind her of the identity of Anurag Thakur, Yudhirappa, the son of Amit Shah, son of Mr. Rajnath Singh, and daughter of Gopinath Munde? Do I need to remind her of all those names? Who is the chief minister of Uttarakhand right now? Do I need to remind her of all those names? And please don't talk about that. I mean, if you talk about Abhishek Banerjee and his rise, I think he's one of the single biggest young political stars in the country. Look at the way he speaks. None of your leaders for Bengal can even match him in terms of his articulate,
Abhishek Banerjee, of course, I agree.
of himself.
He talks about firing on the forehead. I agree.
Please,
he talks about firing on the forehead.
This is. I believe this is a different channel. Why you don't disturb each other, right, madam? I do believe
okay,
that
listen,
this is a
here's the
different
thing.
channel.
Let's get back to Sourav Ganguly since his pictures have appeared on our screens. Yes. Why are you so insistent? Why is the TMC so insistent? Why is the TMC so insistent? While Mr. Ganguly has not himself said a word, why is the TMC so convinced that Mr. Ganguly has got the sack because he refused to join the BJP? Can the Home Minister, as part of an outreach program, not go to a cricketer's house and eat a meal? And why should we assume that the BJP is pressurizing him to join the Congress party?
No.
The same logic, I mean, the same argument can be made from the BJP side, that there was pressure from the TMC for Mr. Ganguly to join them.
No, there was no pressure for Ganguly to join TMC. Mamta had a very good relationship with all the spokespersons in the Bengal, including the biggest of them, Mr. Sourav Ganguly. So let us make it absolutely clear. And on the issue, the question that you have asked, I would like to detour what my good friend and one of the cricketing icons of India, Mr. Keya said. He has said everything that I wanted to say. Why Joy Shah is there? I just want to repeat that. If you want to reshuffle it, if you have to follow law, why Joy Shah is there? Why Mr. Dhumal is there? And why the other MLA from Maharashtra is there? The country needs these answers. If you answer them satisfactorily, then we'll think that Sourav Ganguly has rightly been shunted out. Though he should not be. I tell you one thing, the politicians, if their politicians are there, nothing wrong in it. If there is no bar in the system, politicians can be there. But the principal governing council of that cricket body should be run by the cricketers. Cricketers of someone like Sourav Ganguly, Sachin Tendulkar, Anil Kumble, Kapil Dev, Sunil Gavaskar. They should be running the affairs, the cricketing affairs. And look at the checkered record of this person as an administrator. I do not need to talk about his cricketing abilities. Look at what he has done. And during the most difficult time in the last 2 years, out of his 3 years, he had the most difficult time during the COVID. He had IPL in a different country and the successful one. He had day-night cricket, test
Srinivas,
cricket.
Is it fair to say?
Look at you, just consider his credentials.
No, but there have been some controversial periods as well. Srinivas? Let Srinivas Rao come in. He's someone who has a... Manojit, give me a minute. We have the senior cricket editor of Times of India with us as well. Let's hear from him as well. He's someone who has an ear to what the BCCI says and does. Srinivas Rao, are you hearing anything at all as to why Mr. Ganguly has not got a second term? The man himself is curiously quiet despite the fact that this political slugfest with the BJP on one side and the Congress and the TMC on the other side has played on through the day. It's been 18 hours. In fact, more than 18 hours now. And he's quiet.
Okay. So Shreya, first of all, thanks for having me around. First of all, this whole debate that I've been seeing over the last, 24 hours, it's like, what it sounds to me from the outside is A plus B is equal to C, X plus Y is equal to Z. So why is 5 plus 5 not 55? Honestly, everybody has a view on why Sourav Ganguly is out and Sourav Ganguly does not see it. I'll break down into 3-4 points, and I'll keep it very quick. this guy from TMC says, Sourav Ganguly, Sachin Tendulkar, and all should be administrators. I'm sorry, I don't have political understanding at all. I have a cricketing understanding, so I'll give it to you. Please move on with this mindset that players can be good administrators. No, they cannot. Nowhere, anywhere in the world is there a precedent. Okay, watch any sport anywhere in the world. Watch FIFA. See what happened to Michael Platini when he was, trying to be heading the FIFA. So this is a very wrong precedent, wrong way of, kind of posturing that players, those who have played the game, can be good administrators. No. Administrators around the world are literally like coming from top universities around the world with qualified sports management degrees and, kind of waiting to come here and run the sport professionally. Now, let's keep that aside. Number two, in India, this is seen as some kind of a taboo that politicians run sport. Let's agree with one thing here. In a country where red tapeism thrives, red tapeism exists, you require politicians to run through the country. Ask me and I will explain to you in another show what goes into the conducting of a cricket match in a country like India. If it's not for a politician, 1001 permissions will not come in time. I can tell you as a first person, that the Wankhede Stadium would not have been ready in time for the 2011 World Cup final had Mr. Sharad Pawar not been the president of the BCCI. The IPL would not have happened. Lalit Modi would not have been given express permissions to run the IPL if Mr. Sharad Pawar would not have been the president of the BCCI. The express permissions came because there was a powerful politician in place. For example, let's look at the 2020 pandemic. When it started, the BCCI had to shift an entire tournament from one country to another. And this would not have happened without political interferences, which we like to look down upon it. It's pretty fashionable, but let's understand that in the country that we live in, it's important. So let's not ignore it and let's not be ahead of ourselves. That's a couple of things. Now, coming back to the Lodha committee recommendations, I'm glad Rahul is here. I keep listening to a lot from him when he speaks on TV. Let me say this. The Lodha committee recommendations were flawed. They were full of flaws. Just because the Supreme Court embraced it does not mean that the recommendations were 100% correct. There were more flaws than good. And I'm glad that the Supreme Court finally saw what they were really worth and actually, kind of did away with it and has allowed cricket to move forward. Cricket was stuck. That brings me to the last point, Sourav Ganguly, which is the most important point. I'll make it quick. Everybody is saying Sourav Ganguly wants to, के साथ अच्छा नहीं हुआ कि उनको president नहीं बनने दिया गया. Did Sourav want to become the president? Has anybody asked him? Why don't you call Sourav on your show and ask him, did he want to become the president of the BCCI? Please understand.
How I wish Mr. Ganguly would come on this show. But yeah, go ahead.
Become the chairman of the ICC. In fact, in the meeting of the BCCI, one second, let me complete it.
Monojit, 1 minute. Let Mr. Rao finish what he's saying.
Sorry?
Go ahead, Srinivas, complete the point you're making.
Yeah, so when the recent BCCI meeting,
yeah, I can go ahead, complete your point.
Reported by the media, so-called meetings that happened in Delhi or wherever, please ask Mr. Ganguly what was his point. He wanted to go to the ICC. He wanted the BCCI to support him to go to the ICC. That is the point that he made. And I would be very happy if Sourav comes out and denies this. In 2019, when Sourav was made the president of the BCCI, did BCCI members make him the president? No. He was being given the governing council chairman. He's asked the members of the BCCI. It is Sourav Ganguly who put his foot down and said, no, I want to become the president. If you don't make me the president, please conduct the elections. We'll fight an election. Okay? The BCCI did not want an election. They saw in Sourav Ganguly that, yeah, here is a guy who's been a former cricketer. Let's give him this chance. And fine, I'll quote a very former BCCI president, a very popular BCCI president, who has been seen in Indian cricket as one of the cleanest presidents ever. You know what he told me 10 years ago? He said, in BCCI, what matters is what 30 members think. Outsiders, what they think doesn't matter. So yeah, the same members have decided they need a new president. So move on with it.
Can I just come in, please?
All right, so move on with it. Yeah, who wants to come in? Okay, 10 seconds to Monojit, and I think Rahul wants to come in. So 10 seconds to Rahul as well. Monojit, first you.
first of all, my dear friend didn't understand what I was trying to say. Politicians can be there, but there is a distinction between politics and politicking. What these people are doing is just nasty politicking and nothing else. If you use politics for the benefit of cricket,
that is not exactly what you are being accused of. Monoji, that is exactly what the TMC is being accused of.
You use your power.
It's not the BJP that started this fire.
Who is
It is not the BJP that started this fire.
Simply because it did not toe your line, you just shunt him out. Why? Even if Mr. Ganguly was seated in that particular chair because of politics, that was good politics, I tell you. But what you are doing now by shunting him out is just politicking and nasty politics and nothing else.
Okay.
Like the distinction. Have the
politics is not good and bad. Only Samay changes.
Don't use it as a kind of gift of control for yourself
or
for your son or for your relative. What
who forces
Mr. Amit Shah and the BJP as a kind of gift of control and nothing else.
Practically at gunpoint.
For their sons, for their relatives.
Okay.
There lies the problem.
Leaders from
And
other political parties
someone like Mr. Ganguly has become a casualty, a scapegoat.
I'm mentioning one
No, the
particular
whole
name,
point.
Manoj,
Monojit, 1 minute. Let's not reduce this debate to a tutu meme. Let's not. It's been very civilized so far.
He was framed in a murder case. The day he
speaking.
joined TMC, all the cases have vanished. Ditto with Arjun Singh. There were almost over the 150 cases leveled against him. I don't
Is
see.
she talking about Ganguly or something else?
Okay, Keya. That's right now irrelevant to the discussion we are having right now. Rahul, 20 seconds to you. I really have to wrap this debate. It's gone on for 34 minutes. It's been greatly enjoyable for me. But 20 seconds, please. No more than that. Rahul, go ahead.
Please give me a little bit more time. There are 4 points which Srinivas made. I disagree with all 4. Though I may agree with him on something else, but surely not on these 4. First point on players, that there is no empirical evidence to show that players don't make good administrators. Let's sit down together. You give me one example, I'll give you 100 non-players like the ones which have ruled this. The ones, please, I didn't interrupt. Don't allow me to make my point. Secondly, I agree that some players may be bad, like some administrators will be bad, right? So there is no empirical evidence. 2, politicians are required in this country for running sports because of the nature of the beast that this country is. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. Everybody keeps on telling us amongst politicians and the political bodies that they occupy this for the love of the sport because these are honorary posts from where they do not take even a single penny. That's debatable, but nevertheless, if we take it on the face value, if you are holding honorary posts, please, for God's sake, and if you're doing it for the love of the sport, sit out, be a Sharad Pawar, be an agriculture minister, and still help building of Pankate Stadium if you can, if you have love in your heart. Number 2. Number 3, when you say that Lodha reforms are bad, don't make a generic statement. Everything that Lodha Commission said has proved to be right. It was a reform in the right process. If you take the soul out of the reform, if you take the soul out of the reform process, obviously everything will fall.
For example, what? Give me one recommendation.
But that's for another day. And 4th, the last point that you made, Mr. Ganguly should be or should not be. It is immaterial whether Ganguly is there or not. Indian sport has gone. Indian sport, when I sued BCCI in 99-2000, BCCI used to earn a profit of 6 crores. Today, they are more than 8 billion net worth. That's where BCCI is, not because of the capabilities of these administrators. They are thoroughly incapable bunch of lot. They are all but administering the game of cricket, but because of the love that the people of India display for this sport, because 1 billion eyeballs watch it, because of that, you will see the revenue going from 2 billion to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32. Because of we the people, and we the people are nowhere in the scheme of BCCI. So therefore, let's not live in a fool's paradise. Everything about BCCI, can be debated, and we can have longer debates on this. But I completely and humbly disagree with my friend Srinivas on all the 4 points.
Srinivas, I'll give you 10 seconds. Although my producer is screaming in my ear, 10 seconds to you. And we'll wrap this.
Me? You're talking about me? Yeah, I was telling Rahul that I made 4 points. Let me add a fifth one to it. Let me add a fifth one to it, that I have a serious problem with this whole COA culture also. But as Rahul said, we'll keep it for another debate. Okay. Coming back to the point,
Okay.
coming back to the point, let's look at it one way. Cricket in India is a sport that does well because the public receives it in the manner that it receives. Okay, so everything that goes around the sport in terms of anybody trying to say that I have done a wonderful job in marketing the sport and that is why the sport has ended up selling itself is a misnomer. Cricket will sell even if your and my grandmother sells it in this country. Okay, so administration is given a lot more importance than it needs to be given. And I know people, in other sports and what is happening, but as we'll keep it for another day. The point I'm trying to make is BCCI forever has been a politically driven body. Supreme Court approached the BCCI, tried to change it. However, the manner in which they tried to change it was flawed. The Supreme Court realized that in the manner in which it approached BCCI, it was ill-equipped to bring about that change. That is why it left the BCCI alone. Does that mean that Indian cricket doesn't need to go through a change? It needs to. But all of that, if you put it into a cauldron right now and put it all in a discussion whether Sourav Ganguly needed to stay or go, I don't think that's the point. Sourav Ganguly, like any other member, he's a former cricketer. I have great respect for Sourav Ganguly, the former captain, the former player. Sourav Ganguly, the administrator, to me is as good as a Sharad Pawar, as good as a Jay Shah, as good as a Rajiv Shukla, although I would say Sourav Ganguly is Rajiv Shukla plus 113 test matches.
I agree with Srinivas on the last point that Sourav Ganguly is as bad as all others because it's proven.
Or rather as good as all others.
It's proven with only one aspect that he was his master's voice.
Srinivas, Rahul, important question. I need to ask Srinivas an important question.
Srinivas. He was the president, but he behaved like as if he had no powers.
Yes, listening. Tell me.
Okay. Srinivas, quickly. Is Sourav Ganguly headed to the ICC? It was in some papers he is. The other papers said, well, not really. What are you hearing? What are you hearing?
He's not going to ICC.
That's not where he's headed, right?
He's not going to go to the ICC.
Okay. Which means he retires from the BC. Okay.
Yeah, he retires from
is he joining politics? Remember a year ago there was...
That I don't understand.
But there were some rumors about him joining politics. No, okay.
Actually,
we leave it there. We leave it there then. Thank you very much.
The biggest disservice is that Sourav Ganguly has actually allowed the reforms to go downhill. That's his biggest disservice to Indian cricket.
Okay. We leave it there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was great. It was great to have the two of you. Maybe you should pick up the phone and call each other, Rahul and Srinivas Rao. Thank you very much. Keya Ghosh, Manojit Mandal, I'm going to thank you as well on this very interesting and enlightening debate. So where is Sourav Ganguly headed? Well, Rao is saying he's certainly not headed to the ICC. He's probably not joining politics. And for the moment, his tenure as the BCCI president is coming to an end. With the politics around it come to an end, but it's continued for 24 hours. And the man in question has not said a word. So that's interesting as well. We'll leave it there for the moment. I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. There's more coming up on the other side. Do stay with us.